Okay, so, whoops. Want me to do it from this side or from that
Anyway,
side?
it doesn't matter. Just let me see what we're working with.
Okay.
Put it lined up like this.
Skip.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's in. Okay. I think the table, if you think the ball's in, so obviously the table could be a bit. So I'm just checking this side as well before we.
Okay. One of the things that have been bugging me is my right foot, whether I'm putting it down in line, whether that's not the cause for
Yeah.
missing shots like this. Why am I missing that? I shouldn't be missing that.
Okay. So basically, what's happening is. So you basically got your line, though, from what I've seen. It almost looks like there's no weight on your breathing.
Okay.
Okay, it does look like it. It looks like you.
Should there be weight on
There should be weight on your breathing. Okay.
Oh.
Now, one of the reasons for distributing weight onto the breathing is to be stable.
Okay.
All right. So if your back leg is not pressed,
Yeah,
it's
I
not
don't.
straight.
Yeah.
Okay. It's partly one of the reasons.
Okay.
Okay, because it's bending backwards. You know when it's bending. So basically, when you're bending that and you're bending that, you actually, if you look at what I'm doing, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going forward on my shot, right?
Yeah.
And I'm bracing. I'm pulling this one stuff, so it's pushing weight there. The moment you bend, do that.
Okay.
Can you see what I'm doing?
Yeah, yeah.
It's actually bending. Now I know it's a tough one because after 2-3 hours session of practice, you're going to end up with a
Yeah.
bit of a heavy.
Yeah.
The reason why I'm saying about your leg is because we're about equal in height.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's no reason to actually bend the back leg. In most cases, people are fairly tall. They end up having to bend both legs to go down.
Yeah.
In your case, you'll still have a proper stance.
Yeah.
So
Even if the leg is.
Even if
I've tried playing that, but it threw my snook off so bad. I went back to.
The problem with this game is if you start going back to something that worked,
Yeah.
and it's the wrong way. You know what I'm saying?
I put something on the WhatsApp though,
Yeah.
and I really believe this.
Yes.
Joe Davis in his book on snooker said, you can't correct a mistake with a mistake.
No, you can't.
So if that's a mistake and you want to teach me the right thing,
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Exactly.
Maybe frustrating, but
It's going to be frustrating. It's going to be.
Yeah, okay.
So let's see if we can somehow. So why I put this ball this way is to first check your aligning
Okay.
and your bridging, because that's important, right? So ideally, just come this way. So ideally, if that, where you place that, a good way to see. So if you're lining up over the spots,
yeah.
okay. Ideally, your hand should be somewhere around here with this. Okay, somewhere there. You know that's your tolerance. Somewhere there, right? And then get your stance and see if you can somehow raise the back leg. Do you feel more weight on your bridge?
I'm deliberately, but I'm tending to want to put my elbow down.
No. Put your elbow down. It's fine.
Yeah.
Put it down.
I can feel it in my leg.
You can feel it there.
I also feel putting pressure,
Putting pressure
weight on
Yeah.
my shoulder. Because you're right, I don't I think I've always,
Put it down, yeah, your elbow, yeah, or your arm for that matter.
yeah.
So there we go.
Should I play?
Yeah, play the shot. Just play nice forward straight through the shot. How does that feel? I know it's a tough one.
Yeah, just
It's something to work
I'm
on.
aware of,
You
conscious of.
Yes, you see that's a problem because now you're gonna think about it. Okay.
Because what you mentioned about the weight on your hand here.
Yeah. You can even bend your arm. Doesn't matter. Whatever feels comfortable. So that's something you sort of have to you know, so if I had to, for argument's sake, go down like this into my shot, I don't have a cue, but that doesn't matter. So I'm going down. So it either is that, this is braced. Can you see? I can either do that or that. Obviously, sometimes there's a ball laying here somewhere. You almost have to, go, either way. Right?
Okay.
Okay. So that is one of the key parts of it's basically to be almost solid on top of the. It's basically you want to be solid, stable on top of the board.
Yeah, this is interesting. I've never thought of. I know that this hand brings stability, but I didn't think of putting the weight on it.
Yeah, it can't be stable if it can't, you can't just. Yeah. So basically, what I'm saying is, you can't just stand like that and push weight down on the hand. There must be a technique.
It's going to be leaning into the shot.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right there. So even if you leg, if I had to stand like that, and I'm standing, let's say that's my normal stance, like that. So if that leg is for argument's sake like that, you even see some people standing like that. I'm pushing backwards. There's no way. There's nothing. I can basically lift up someone's hand off the table.
Yeah. Even with me, you would have been able to lift up, if I'm like this.
Yeah, just in there. Yeah. So it's actually So it's very easy to lift your hand.
Yeah.
So if you straighten your leg, you can actually feel it. I'm sorry, my hand is cold.
That's fine. Okay.
Okay. So I could instantly see that there's no weight.
And that may count even for the simple shots.
So, but like I say, that now it's going to take a certain amount of practice to not think about it. Unfortunately, you're not perfect. So in the beginning, it's going to be
building that muscle memory.
So let's do some parts, and then we'll do maybe some routines I can give you. Just take the white side, maybe put it on this side. Better for your recording, I think.
Okay, so I should be get my hand on the
Get on the table, yeah. Get it on.
Yeah.
It's already getting cleaner, but you know, if you're getting 10 in a row, in the middle of the puck, you already know you're getting some.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm trying to work out now when I go down my routine.
Yeah.
How to put weight on.
Much sweeter, eh? I don't know what it feels like.
That last one especially was.
Yeah. Don't worry too much about that though, because I'll show you something. It's probably drifting a bit, so you have to go on the.
You've got to consciously think of putting the weight forward.
Okay, now there's now that's the stroke. That was the stroke itself. That wasn't so much.
Okay.
So that was a step. But you got it on your
Yeah.
so, Okay. So you can see
The old man's coming alive again. That stabbing,
the stabbing.
stroking. Very much like in golf, you know, because I used to play golf.
Okay.
In golf as well, you could hit at the ball, or you could just stroke through the ball.
Nice punch.
So it's the same principle
Yes.
here, don't stab at it.
Yeah.
I mean, the theory is there, but getting it translated to is nog 'n story.
No.
Okay, so I need to.
That was a proper story. So you know you got everything in favor of how you're addressing the ball.
Okay.
Because you've got that little front pose which I coach, you know, it's like, which I didn't coach you by the way, but I coach that.
Yeah.
The front pose after a couple of feathers, have the little front pose going. You don't have too much of a back pose, which is almost perfect. I actually hate that long little back pose because it makes you slightly hesitant.
Yeah.
I like the flowy,
Yeah.
you know, the little back first, the front pose.
Yeah.
And so almost if I can call it a little soft back pose.
Okay. Yeah. I played snooker in Wynberg with an old man, Herman van Aarden. I don't know whether you know him. He used to play A-League, but he's too old now. And one of the things he said, I used to keep my hand too far away from the cue and too long a stroke. So I've shortened that.
Shorter that. No.
And got the ball closer.
So you'll be able to hopefully see on the recording occasionally that you do give a little stab at it. That's to do with the little grip in front. So what happens is, you know when they say loose grip?
Yeah.
So let me just, in theory, obviously there's different schools of thought.
Yeah.
So in theory what happens is that they say ideally you must have a loose grip.
Yeah.
It's not completely true.
When some guy's saying on TV, if you hold it, I must be able to pull the cue out of.
Not completely. I don't believe that.
Okay. Well, I struggle with that.
If you stick to that and it works, it's fine. So obviously
That's it.
whatever works. Right. This ideally is the two fingers that does the trick.
Okay.
Alright. So someone shouldn't be able to pull the cue out of your hand. Just like that.
But if it's too loose, when you hit the white ball, it's going to move the cue in your hand.
That's right. So it's a bit of a pinchy effect.
Okay.
If I can call it to this. Not
Yeah.
tight, but a pinch on the two. This is two main fingers.
Yeah.
Some players even say you only need two fingers to play, which is not true because you need the guide to guide through the shot with the rest of the hand. So what I'm saying is, because you some people have a too loose of grip,
Yeah.
they end up grabbing.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Instead of where they have a slight little pinch in front, you know, and
Yeah.
sort of then release.
Okay. Alright. You think I'm gripping it too tight or too loose?
Now to lose possibly, but let's see. Let's see. So I'll just demonstrate. I can grab your cue. You actually made a good shot there, but I'll just demonstrate. So basically what I'm saying is that, you know, in some cases, some players, they even have their little, they're sticking out there. Can you see
Yeah.
it? It's almost, you can almost see that's pinchy.
Yeah.
You know, and so what happens if you're too loose? If you're too loose like that, so you're going to end up doing that. Now that's very loose, right? So I'm almost hanging it in my. So what's going to happen is as you come through, you're gonna pinch me, and then you tense up,
Yeah.
and then it becomes almost stabbing, right? So when you have a little bit of a pinch here rather, and then come nicely through.
Okay.
You know that.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to play the shot. I just want to show you what I'm talking about.
Nice. Smooth.
Yeah. It's like there's nothing in front of you, basically.
Yeah.
You know, you
Oh, but that's difficult
when you're looking. Yes.
it's like a whole ghost ball thing. Trying to see the ghost ball there to get the angle.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Sweet. It's a sweet shot.
You know, to do that all the time.
Yes. Get a bit stabby. You almost need to pass the white, the tip through the bullseye, you know, the inches. Yeah, that's better. So one of the nicest ways to practice following through a shot, not a lot, but occasionally, is to actually play topspin.
Okay.
You know, just to,
Yeah.
you know, even if it's 40, 50 shots per practice. So you
Yeah.
always play, you follow the white in. Some people like the screw back. But if you play too much screw backs, you don't get used to following through because people tend to what they call pull the cue out of the way.
That's interesting you mentioned the
Yeah.
screw back.
Yeah.
I played with a new guy came to Weinberg recently, and after our first game together, we played the best out of three.
Yeah.
He said to me, "You play a lot low on the ball. Is there a reason why you play so much screw back?" And I said, "No, I didn't know that."
Mm.
Really? And he said, "Yeah."
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I don't know why I do that.
Yeah. So it's a good thing to practice. When I say top, I'm talking about literally half a tip on top of the middle.
Okay.
I'm not talking like up there,
Yeah.
you know. And then you sort of just push through it, almost play for the in-off.
Okay.
Basically, just let your arm go, you know. Now,
Got the enough.
you got it, yeah. It means you were keeping straight. So what that does do now, it's giving you enough practice on pushing through the whiteboard.
Okay.
You know, so it becomes it's like a memory thing. It starts getting locked in there. So if you want to start then practicing screwbacks, it's the same method.
Okay.
You know, become but by practicing screwbacks too much, more than run throughs, doesn't give you the same because even the top players man tendencies to almost pull the cue back.
Yeah.
As they stab, they pull it back, and that becomes stabby.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
I did a lot of that earlier on.
Yeah.
I think I got that out of my system.
Also, what happens is it's more exciting playing screwback.
Yeah.
You know, and people sort of get carried away in playing screwbacks, and it's actually doing damage rather than progressing.
Too much of it.
Yeah. Mm.
I was amazed, sorry,
Yeah.
thinking back on Saturday morning, standing at
Yeah.
doing the squat, being right there,
Yeah.
seeing how softly Cole plays his screwback.
Screwback.
How much action he
Yes.
got.
It's that.
I like, he hardly hit that ball, and look at that thing spin.
And it's
But-
fun, yeah, no, it's a light little action, and it's
Yeah.
but it's obviously not saying he's doing these routines, but it's obviously the methodology. Maybe he's not doing the same, but
Okay.
going to say that. Almost looks like your. Remember something? I don't know what the weight of your cube is. Okay.
17 or 18.
Okay.
It's quite a light.
Right. So also what happens is balance of the cue, weight, and all that, and also the length of the actual cue. So basically, what happens is if you hold your cue too much to the front,
Okay.
let's just say you're doing that, it pops up out of your hand. It's possible.
Well, like I just did.
Yes. So it is very, but then you end up with a longer breath because you're having to pull it maybe.
Yeah. So I've got this mark here.
Yeah,
This is
you've got
where
the mark.
normally where
Yeah.
I've come to feel most
It's
comfortable.
how you feel comfortable, but if it starts popping up,
But if it pops up, is it? I hear what you're saying. I'm just wondering whether I'm not dropping my elbow too
no.
much.
That's most likely the cue popping. It's popping up because of the weight distribution of the cue.
Okay.
You know, and also when the cue is shorter than the normal length, also can happen because it's not enough weight in front.
Okay. Gotta remember to put the weight.
Sweet. Good job. Is your choke?
I was about to play with screw low down.
Okay. So basically what happens there, I mean you're part of the ball cleaning. So obviously don't want to tamper too much the fact that you that but also be aware that you actually it's obviously how you're sighting the ball. You know, so I mean you get top pros that possibly like a Judd Trump is offline before he actually hits the shot. But if you can, maybe because sometimes you're not focused on the actual point on the white.
Yeah.
Especially with a straight shot. So if you're going to be offline with a white, you're obviously not going to putt the ball.
Yeah.
You know, so be aware. And the best way to be aware of that is obviously getting in, when you feather, it's getting in close to the white, which you're not too far off. You know, so
Okay.
if you're close enough, just make sure, you know, it's all very easy, but it's the easy part, the one thing to miss.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So make sure that you're hitting the white where you intend to hit it. When you're lining it up.
So here's a question. You've reminded me of a question I thought of. When they talk about feathering,
Yeah.
and then they talk about when you feather, before you play the stroke, you pause.
Yeah.
Now, when you pause, what should you be looking at?
Look.
Am I pausing to check my line? Or am I pausing to, I mean, it works, obviously, because I felt it. But I still often, when I go down and I do my feathering, then what am I looking at now? I play the ball anyway.
Okay.
You know.
No. Listen, like I said earlier, the pose itself, the front pose, your front pose is to make sure you're hitting the white
On the spot.
so basically, that's the white ball.
Yeah.
So you've got your line, you've got everything, you've got that line up, and now you sort of know where you want to hit the white.
Yeah.
Then on the back pose, you're supposed to then look, in theory, on the object ball, but not necessarily. Some people are what you call white ball players, because you sort of trust the action.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So once they line up, it doesn't matter. You know?
Yeah.
I prefer looking at the object ball because I feel like I jump up if I don't look at the object ball for some reason. I think it's that, hopefully.
Yeah.
I must also see a coach maybe for that, you know. But I think in theory what happens is if you look at the white ball, you tend to jump up after playing the shot because you want to see where the object ball is going.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
right? So yes, I would think looking at the object pool is on strike.
Yeah.
On about as you're striking.
Yeah.
And like I said, it doesn't have to be a pose. It's really your comfort. The main pose is the front one.
Okay.
So you know once you start thinking all this stuff, am I posing at the back? Am I not posing? Am I?
Yeah.
You know, it becomes.
Because quite
Becomes
honestly,
what?
yeah, I until about 6-7 months ago, I never paused on the backstroke.
Yes.
I did my feathering and then I played.
Yes.
I played back, played.
I'll go
Then
back.
they started talking about this back pause, you know.
No. Back pose is there somewhere it is there, but I'm saying if it's a flowing type of back pose, it's also okay.
Okay.
You know, there must be some sort of, I'll explain you more in
Yeah.
detail, but
Okay.
Here we go. So I'll give it, even if I can explain it to you, what's weird about it is that in some cases you don't even need a feather, but yes, most people
Ankle.
feather. Yeah.
He doesn't feather at all.
Yes. So I think I think there's possibly one or two pros that actually literally puts they literally go down and pause on top of that one until they get the line, but they don't actually do that.
They just shoot.
Yeah, they see the line, they point it, and they'll pause there. And they'll do what they call micro adjustments. Okay, so I'll explain to you what micro adjustment is. No one is good enough. I don't care who he is. Maybe when the press is off. But no one is good enough to play the game where they go down and display through the line.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll explain to you in detail if you can pass your cue. So if you go down on a shot like that, and you're down on the shot, right? I would think especially on cuts. Okay. So if you're down on a shot like that, and you go down and you found that so this is not supposed to be the perfect line. Okay. You don't pick it up necessarily behind the plate. Right?
Okay.
But there's no book or theory that can actually contradict what I'm saying now.
Okay.
And I go by this, you know. And that is the fact that as you go down, even though you're on the line, you probably have to somehow micro adjust. You might not see me doing it. Can you see this?
Okay. Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Yes. So in theory, when I tell you that's the line and you stick to it, it's not always true. No one is that good not to micro adjust on their shot.
You see, this what you're mentioning now, this has confused me because some of the guys, when you look at some of the videos of how to line, how
Yes.
to get the line, and
That's
goes
right.
ball theory
Yeah.
or play
Right.
through theory, and that's too complicated. Just
Yeah.
and all of that, I thought, well, I hope nobody notices. I go down and actually. Nobody's watching because I didn't get the line.
You didn't get the line.
But you're saying,
So what I'm saying to you is, I'm not saying, look, if you don't have the line, you don't have the line, then you
Yeah.
have to actually stand back
Yeah.
and readjust.
Yeah.
So what they're saying in theory is probably correct.
yeah,
I'm saying that there's no full evidence to go down on a shot
and have it
and
perfect.
be the perfect line. I don't care who you are. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can be the best player in the world. You're not going to be to the ball.
Okay.
And that fraction of a mil is the difference between potting the ball and not potting it.
Yeah.
So if you need to adjust fractionally, not wholesale, because then obviously your line is wrong.
I hear what you're saying, but maybe one of the biggest culprits for me that's made me think
To stick to the line.
stick to the line
Yes.
is not Neil Henry,
You'll not get
Henry.
Stephen
Stephen Henry said, I heard him say in a video once,
every time he's made a mistake, it's because he changed his mind when he went down.
Mm.
I thought, oh, okay, I
Yeah,
change my mind all the time.
You see,
Maybe I just
unfortunately,
misunderstood.
no, yeah, you misunderstood. You see, unfortunately, these guys, because it's coaching done through YouTube or whatever,
Yeah.
so you don't get the full discussion with them.
Yeah.
And sometimes YouTube is good to get coaching involved, but unfortunately, one-on-one, it's better.
Sure.
Or even in a class, because then you can sort of get these parts of the
Yeah.
coaching, because you can't ask questions on YouTube, unfortunately. You know what I'm saying? So you always have to stick in here. So in a nutshell, 7 in properly means committing to the shot.
Yeah.
It's important. You have to commit. You cannot bail out on a shot while you're down, which is there is no argument with that.
Okay, well, this helps.
Yeah.
Because now I don't have to worry when I have to feel I have to adjust slightly.
Yeah, no, listen, when I say adjust, again, if I can just emphasize, we're talking micro adjustment. We're not talking
Changing.
you're out of line and you just starting to sort of do the whole movement.
Yeah.
That's not gonna.
Yeah.
We're talking literally a little touch.
Yeah.
It mustn't be visible.
Yeah.
Put it to that.
Okay.
I know it's tough, but
You're going to catch me out on that one.
I'll catch you on that.
Okay, so get my legs straight, weight forward, just above middle.
Sweet. So yeah, so basically that would be that's probably one of the key ingredients. If you have a line and you feel that to get the ball to the pocket,
Yeah.
and
Just
that
getting-
little fractions.
I'm going to have to spend quite a bit of time just going down.
Putting the weight forward.
I mean, look, if you feel it's I can see from your first shot. I see the weight now.
Yeah.
So
Well, I'd never thought of that before. In all the coaching, all the
Practicing, I've never thought of the weight in the front being there.
yeah.
Obviously, if you have to. bridge
No,
over
look,
the
obviously
ball-
there's going to be situations where you okay, so we can move on from this. So I basically going to give you, so obviously these drills, it's what you feel comfortable with.
Okay.
I still think keep away from mid-range and long
Okay.
shots. I think you can, when you're doing solo, I suppose you can part 10 blues of the spot from the D and maybe do some funny little cuts on the pin, but don't make that your focus.
Okay.
That's dangerous, in my opinion.
Okay.
I mean, if you were a prolific potter, yes, that's definite, but
Yeah.
you're obviously not going to win games like that. If you do, good luck.
Most of this, I mean, you're right, because most of the breaks, even Shoal, and I've watched other guys before, even my highest break ever, it was all short little shots
Short little shot.
around in the bundle, just making sure you get the
Okay.
little shots.
Okay, now I've seen you done very good practice the other day, which I recommend myself, is we line these legs up. So I do once, don't worry. You line the legs up somewhere here and you got a blue.
yeah.
Try and touch each one of
Yeah.
that shot. Okay. So
Do you recommend that as a good practice?
it's not a bad practice. Okay. There's another practice I can show you. It's not too bad, but it can become frustrating. Okay.
Okay.
You're on a level that you can actually try this, but then obviously there's a few more easier ones. I'll show this one. You've probably never seen this one.
Okay.
I'll show it to you now. And then there's another routine I'll give you now. Okay. So this is the routine I want you to try. Very easy, very simple. And this is pure, what you call your control. If I can put it to that.
Okay.
Alright, I'm gonna use your key anyway. I'm not gonna get it right, so but I'll give you some idea what I want you to do. So basically, that's about your distance. You can sort of work it out for yourself.
Okay.
You can maybe even spot on the table over there. So what I want you to do is play a run through
Okay.
on the black.
Just a run through.
Just a run through as if you're playing for the blue.
Okay.
Just a normal run through. I'm playing the run through. So that's my run through. So that was obviously a bit slow. So the ball, I'll first spot it there. You'll get an idea of what I'm doing here now.
Okay.
So that's the blue. You can take that.
Okay.
And then I want you to play a bit of a stun.
Okay.
Okay, so obviously, the first time I tried to run through there,
Okay.
and the second time I'm obviously going to try to stun it a little bit.
Okay.
Hopefully, get to that side of the blue. And that's basically, it's about, let's just do that over. That's not a good shot. That was just
Now, when you talk about stun, you're talking about the middle of the ball.
slightly to the middle, a bit of a punch shot. Alright.
You want to mark this one?
So yeah, we're going to put, it's basically straight in line. And this is where the practice becomes interesting. Put it similar. And this is basically a little screw back to end up this side. Okay, so if you follow that line, so this is where it becomes interesting, right? So now it's a nice little challenge actually.
Okay.
This is a very nice challenge, and if you get it right, it's a nice little confidence builder. Now you would, like I said, you wouldn't have seen this practice. So now basically, I'm playing the run through and I want to hit that ring.
Okay. Yeah.
Because that's where it ended.
Okay.
So this is basically the second part of it. I think it was something like that. And this is why it's important to spot this.
Okay.
Because I probably, if I don't spot it properly, I might not get it. If you look at the line, it would have probably, yeah. And so,
More reds.
that's fine. So that would have been the little run through, and this would have been the little stomach plate. That's far out. So that shows you the inconsistency.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a very difficult practice.
Yeah.
If you think about it, as far as setting it up.
These are natural angles.
These are all little natural angles that gives you an idea of break over.
Yeah. I see.
So basically, if you're taking the blue out of the equation, you know, you're under black, and you want a certain position on the table,
Yeah.
then you know there's a red there maybe that you're playing for. So now you know that would have been a shot almost like getting to the blue this
Yeah.
side.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
if there's maybe a red going to that pocket, and that's the only pocket, let's say it's blocked. So now you know it's a little screw back and you'll get behind in it.
Yeah. Okay.
All these little things helps.
Okay.
So that little practice on its own
Yeah.
sort of, you know, gives you a lot of knowledge about how the white
Yeah.
reacts. Okay, so that's the one thing, and then obviously there's recognition of angles.
Yeah.
Okay, so another good practice is you put about, I almost want to say 5 balls somewhere in this line. Straight. You can put more balls obviously, but I think this is a bit out of range here, so you would put your black ball on the spot.
Want to run the spot?
Yeah. Sorry. So that will be your first part.
Okay.
Okay, so you would pot that shot. Like I said, I don't want to, that's your practice. I'm taking out my cue. But this is demonstration. So that would be your next part.
Okay.
Next part.
Yeah.
Next part.
Yeah, already I sort of, as I said in the beginning, if we've got something going, what I try and do sometimes, I do that for, and I go around the table.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it takes a long time.
Takes a long time.
You know, if you take four, they put them pink, black,
Yeah.
black, pink, blue, yellow, brown, you know.
Okay. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to do these little routines, and not every routine you want to do. And then what you do is you put this little practice, this little technique
Yeah.
in theory. So it's going to be the weight
Yeah.
on the thingy. Obviously the stroke we were talking about, the little pause in front.
Yeah.
The little pinch is for me it's important. The little
Yeah.
pinch. If you don't feel comfortable, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
As long as the grip's not too loose. Because as soon as the grip is too loose, I mean, lots of people say don't grip your cue. 100% agree with that. Because also what happens if you grip, you also get a bounce up.
Yeah.
Because you're gripping it, and the cue moves up from your bridge end. So normally when you sort of have a loose grip, it sort of drops onto you.
Mm.
You know, sort of
Yeah.
the weight distribution, right? But too tight is no good, but too loose is no good. But when you get it in your mind about really loose grip, it's no good.
Okay.
Alright, so that's too loose. Somehow it's that two fingers must be a little bit,
Yeah.
you know, like not tight, but it must be nice. And so weight then is that grip, and believe it or not, because that's the stroke and this micro adjustment.
Yeah.
So these are all these little shots, especially when it comes to these shots. You know, when you have to cut. This is okay because it's straight.
Yeah.
You can only go down and you have to basically pause in the middle of the white and you know you have to.
Yeah.
Once it's here, and you have a cut, and it's sort of, I'm not going to say guessing, but there is a bit of guessing in the shot. So that micro adjustment comes into play now.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, so you're going to go down and you say, hey, it looks like I'm going to undercut this ball.
Yeah.
So you literally, I'm talking about fractionally.
Yeah.
Undercut the ball.
Yeah.
Fractionally, and you can't stand up now.
Yeah.
You know, unless something else happened in the mind where you say it's not a right shot, then I can understand and
Yeah.
stand up and then commit to the actual shot you play.
Okay.
By that little micro adjustment, if you made up your mind what shot to play, you can still do the micro adjustment.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that's what Henry was referring to
Yeah.
when he says that when you're down, commit to the shot you play.
Yeah.
You know, but in theory, even he would know himself that no one is that good to.
Yeah. Because I must confess that issue, as often I've looked, I've been down, and I've made an adjustment. I think that I shouldn't make adjustments, so go back to the line, and then by then I miss a shot.
I suppose the longer it takes to actually make that adjustment, that also becomes more hesitancy and the actual adjustment.
Yeah.
But that adjustment should be very quick.
Yeah.
If I can almost add that into it, that little micro adjustment mustn't be a long think about it. It's more a case of look at a fraction of here. It's just a matter of a little, I just want to say hard. You know? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A little haze thingy.
Adjustments.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, like I say, micro, and then, you know, you play your shot.
Okay, so it's the weight thing, it's the stroke, and the micro adjustment.
And don't forget, it's the whole idea is to hit slightly higher on the white to make sure in practice, in theory, for practice, if you play more of those shots solo,
Yeah.
it helps your arm.
Follow through.
Yes. So you almost teach yourself to follow through the
Yeah.
shot. Not the actual follow through on the white, but it actually teaches you to follow through on your shot all the time. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so
I think those are some of my biggest stabbing, because I know when I initially started playing 4 or 5 years ago, I was stabbing everything.
you know. Yeah. But it's all about the solo part of the game to get that part.
Yeah.
If you start playing players, you obviously don't want to play certain shots that's required.
Yeah.
If I can almost break it down for you. So in pool, what happens in when you talk about pool players,
Yeah.
the white is very small.
Okay.
So what happens is when they play, it's very difficult to get a run through on pool.
Okay.
Because the white is small. So you
Okay.
almost have to force through the white to
Okay.
get the white to go through the
Yeah.
you know. So what happens is, because pool players play accordingly, right? They end up playing a lot of screw shots or stop shots. Or the
Okay.
you know,
Yeah.
what you call stabby shots.
Yeah.
You know, now it's not because there's a problem with the cueing. The stabbing action is proper for pool.
Yeah.
If you, it's
Okay.
the right action.
Yeah.
You know? So you develop that action because of the white ball that you
Yeah.
play with. You know,
Yeah.
because they're having all the time having to play little screw backs.
Yeah.
So in a nutshell, what I'm saying is that in essence happens to snooker players with stabby actions. Because they're playing a lot of screw backs and little stun shots and they're stopping the cue. So that's why I say in theory, if you practice, you can not run throughs. Again,
Run through it.
it's not like a broken record, but that's in
Yeah.
fact what's gonna help.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. You're giving me a lot of work to do.
It is a lot of work. All my students have plenty of work. Really, it's a pleasure.
Yeah, thank
I don't know
you.
if you still want a solo or whatever, I don't know how much time it is, but I think we.
Well, we have about 17 minutes, maybe I'll just
Solo.
start practicing these things. And, but I like that exercise you've got there. There's one other one you haven't seen me do, otherwise, but just what your comment. What I often do, doesn't matter, you put, well normally I use the color balls, put them all, I put a red and the yellow, and I play through. So in this case, I would put that next to the yellow every time, and I'd have the blue, pink, and so I'll decide, okay, I want the white ball perfectly lined up behind the black, and I'll go down and I'll try and play. Where do you hit that? How much run?
I do.
Morning.
To get it perfectly behind the black. Now that immediately disqualifies because I didn't put the red. Red doesn't go down.
Morning.
Down.
Morning.
How are
You
you?
well? Good. You well? Yes.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
and then obviously I work it from the black to pink, blue. And once I've done that a couple of times, then I take those balls, I move them down, and then I do the one you saw me do. So, but I like this one you've just given me to do.
On the black spot.
From the black spot to learn those angles.
And that's literally about 3 shots.
Yeah.
It's a little run throughs, little stun,
Mountain.
and a screw back.
Yeah.
For the brilliant. So it's as if you're playing for the blue, but indirectly, it's little paths.
Yeah.
You know, from the black. You know, little paths you see and so on.
It's getting the control right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brilliant, thank you.
Lekker man.
Appreciate it. Yeah, thank you.
Where does this table come from? Oh, did they just spray it like this? Or was it
No, this table is a steel block table.
is it?
Thank you.
Thank
It's a
you.
pleasure. It's a little steel block table.
I mean a steel block. Is this all steel?
No. This inside here. Sorry, we're using inside here.
No, no.
Well, play while you.
Is this steel? I've heard people talk about it's a steel block table, it's more
Okay, so
expensive.
basically, this rubber here
Yes.
is attached to a 6mm, thick steel.
Steel. Okay.
Still.
Not wood.
It's not wood.
Okay.
But there is wood,
Yeah.
There's that side. But this is the text. So basically what it does is it causes consistency of the bounce. Because wood is inconsistent.
Is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
dense wood.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Different densities. So when the ball hits here, I mean you can literally see how I'm putting it into the pocket there. I mean you can literally see how it's.
Oh yes, no shit, that bounces away. Eh? Yeah.
Nice, right?
So this would be Fosdem, this table.
It's like the prototype.
Would a
Yeah.
table like this then, because I know if you're shooting like a double, you're going for double. If you shoot it too hard, you lose your angle because the ball comes.
It will reverse.
Yeah.
But
Would
this
this
is
counter?
really-
Would this be?
No, these cushions are very true actually, believe it or not.
So even if you hit it hard,
Now listen, you can hit the double hard and any table it will kick more square.
okay.
Because it absorbs me, it sort of pushes it up
Yeah.
square. You know, so it's softer you hit a double.
Okay, so the skill block's not going to
It will
count.
be the same.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, didn't even know. Shit, they've done quite a bit in here now with all this stuff. But now why is this affect you? Is this just because of the cloth?
No. You know what? You know what happens? I cover this table, but what happens is we struggle with the leveling quite a bit. Because these tables are a bit different from your every table.
Every,
Also
yeah.
because it's settled.
Settled, yeah.
Okay. So what happened, me and Anton, we had this massive jack.
Okay.
So a couple of times, while we were jacking it up, the thing slipped. So when it slips, it sort of cracks
Ooh,
through the floor.
yes.
And then this opens up, this, what do you call it, crack filler.
The crack filler, yes.
This crack filler opened there.
Ay.
So you can actually feel
Yeah.
where it opened. I can't feel it, but somewhere, yeah, feel that? Okay.
So does that affect the ball now?
Of course, yeah, of course it's gonna
Oh
absorb.
yes. Oh, okay. All right. You can see.
So we're gonna have to,
But this is just chalk.
that's just, then we're practicing over the line.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
if you play consistently, the
Yeah.
same. But yeah, this I know that you pointed out, you can actually see it.
Yeah. Oops.
Yeah.
But like I said, dropped a few times, man. Quite a few times.
Ooh la la. So what jack were you using then?
It's Anton, man.
Nee man, kyk maar net met die fucking jack kry. Ja.
I'm keeping my hands, I'm thinking, Jesus.
Fucking no. Now you need one of those trolley jacks, proper ones that will,
Exactly.
hydraulic, and you're not gonna. Yeah, God allow.
Good.
You want a couple of games?
Okay, we can play a couple of
We
games.
go in the back.
I'll put in practice what he's just taught me.
No, that's good. I'm glad. Then I can learn as well. Yeah.
So get ready to thrash me.
Ah.
I'm gonna struggle like you always do. You
No,
don't have to get ready.
I don't know what you want to do. You want to practice at the back or
Yeah.
we're going to play in front?
Let's go play.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we go-
It's only 11 minutes.
I've got to buy now new for my table. I'm gonna buy new pockets like this,
Yeah.
right? Then I'm gonna ask you to come and you give me a price and fix it on for me because my ones are. I like this idea. Eh? Is this what you say? No, this is not. That
No, you want this, yeah. This, you need to,
that looks very
you
nice.
must fill it, you must fill it up
Is it?
with I think that wood packing.
Okay.
And you put your dowels in and you
Yes.
dowels into the holes, you
Yeah.
fill it up and you delete it all. Because these ones got two.
Oh. Okay. Look, I don't know what that one of mine is. I've got the table this length. This is my length.
What make it?
It's a Thurston's table.
Oh, then.
The old Thurston's with a proper wooden things.
No,
I've only got 4,
No,
So-
listen a minute more. Not be this pocket. You need to.
Yeah, but you can first come have a look.
Practicing at home and
No, you can't practice on that table. You can play on this. The angles are totally out. It's different angles. Yes, no, for straight potting and pull back and yeah. But I've got 2 boards, 2 not permanente, the dogwood, two boards that go over it, that slide on.